Live on DAZN Worldwide, April 26th, Eubank Jr. versus Ben. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
Okay, if there's one AI site builder you need to meet, it's this dope tech from Wix. Now this whole flow is a conversation, so your words act.
Well, hello there everybody and welcome back to another Hookster Talks with me and Mr. TB the Bear. Yes, everyone's favourite bear. Yes, he doesn't get enough coverage, does he? He doesn't get enough coverage, but here he is saying hello. Of course, Lewis Hamilton, #1 fanboy, aren't you? Yes, yes. Well, how happy are you about Lulu then? Yes, he's well happy with Lulu. Getting his little 5th place, sneaking in there, didn't he? Sneaking in there. Unbelievable. Right, let's go to the chat and see what we're doing. Hello, Mr. Will F1. Welcome to the stream. He says, Paddock 43 disgusted with you. Well, that won't be for the first time, will it? That won't be for the first time. Paddock 43 disgusted with... yes, and well, they should be as well. Well, they should be as well. For that comment about the flaps that he made in his video last week, I thought it was... absolutely deplorable. Now, getting back to 6 Muppets in Space, Katy Perry. While watching that video, I also saw an interview with her afterwards where she was saying about, you know, the fact that that mission to space, which lasted 11 minutes, it was like she had like this outer worldly godly encounter, and it was only because of her strict beliefs and some kind of Zen worshipping shit, I don't know what it was all about, that got her through that ordeal, you know, for a whole 11 minutes, don't forget, 11 minutes she was in space. In fact, it was only about 2 minutes, because by the time they get there, it's basically trying to come back down again. Yeah, so it was actually only 2 minutes in space. 2 minutes in space she was in. It was Katy Perry. But what got me thinking was, what a marvel of modern science that really was. What a marvel of modern... I'm not talking about the big dildo. I'm not talking about that. I mean, rockets, blimey, they've been around since, what, the 50s. That's not a marvel in science, is it? I'll tell you what a marvel in science is. The fact that all their faces actually stayed on. I mean, think about it. All that plastic, and it still stayed stuck to their face, even in zero gravity. I thought, that's amazing. That's absolutely... how did that even happen? How did all that plastic stay on their faces? I mean, I had this horrible idea that it would suddenly all fall off their faces and congeal with this horrible mess. And when I opened that capsule, they'd all walk out of there looking like John Merrick. That was what I thought. But no, they were fine. Plastic and all. Yes. I'll tell you what, there was more plastic than Cher in that capsule. Oh my God. Why do they do it? Just grow old gracefully. Stop sticking bits of plastic on your face. Because trust me, you don't look any better. In fact, you look a lot worse. But anyway, that was just a little point I wanted to make. Yes, it just fascinated me how that plastic managed to stay on. Will says, bin all TB's clothes. Oh, gold. Again, he wanted all his clothes for Easter. Will, he wanted all his clothes for Easter. We've got to bin your clothes again, TB. What? He says, it's time you stood up to these people in the comments and stopped listening to what they tell you. I'm keeping my clothes on. So there. Boo. Wow. Don't know where that came from, but there you go. TB's clothes are staying on. Congratulations to Oscar Piastri on winning the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Yes, indeed. Get Katy Perry on... you know what? Where's my pen? I've got to write that down because, I mean, it's got to be done, really, hasn't it? It's got to be done. You know? It's got to be done, hasn't it? It's got to be done. Katy Perry. I did have another one lined up. I can't remember who it was. There's another female. Oh, Vicky Butler Henderson. But she can wait. She can wait. Plenty of episodes left yet. Plenty of episodes left. She can wait. Spam, Pinal Spam. Paddock 43 want a word with Mr. Rugara. Yes. Hello, Mr. 43 Lesbians. Welcome to the stream. He says, cancelled that. Yeah, absolutely. Paddock 43 are disgusted with KDF1. Paddock 43 should hire Jack Nichols. Whoops! Whoops! Down with Dave. Lesbians rule. Well, I hope they do. I hope they do, because I love a nice I like lesbians. They're my favourite kind of women. Women supremacy. Yes. Sexist. Yes. Spam. Spam. No words from the Hookster. My guess is he's watching the F1 25 trailer. I was lining it up. I was. I haven't actually seen it at all, so I'm going to go into it completely live, which is probably the best way. Woman hate. Yes. Bimbo supremacy. Paddock 43 want TB to be deleted. Oh my God. Dave said the D word. Lock him up in jail. Misogynist. Down with TB. Cancel Lando. Lando Norris is never winning the championship. Get Holly Samos on this all seasons. Yes. Yes, we should. Right, where's my headphones? As I was linking this stream to the several subordinates that I link it to on Facebook. No, Twitter. I was on Twitter. That's right, Twitter. I suddenly found a video about misogyny in F1. So I'm going to have a look at that before we continue. Spam, says Will. Yes, spam. Let's put my headphones on. Right, I should have it laced up here somewhere. Where is it? It's somewhere. Here it is. So let's have a look at this. I don't even know who the YouTuber is. I've never heard of them before. It was literally just on Twitter, and I found the link, and here it is. It's from, I forgot to see who it's from. One intern talks wheel. There you go. One intern talks wheel. But yeah, the title is Martia Garcia. Now, Martia Garcia, if anyone doesn't know, had a little bit of spat with our fan of the show, Carbon Jordan, because she was saying about there should be an all-women's championship because it's not fair that they had to compete with men. And it was Marta Garcia which actually came out and said, no, that's a stupid idea. And what have we got now? Yes, F1 Academy. And before that, we had that other one, which I can't even remember the name of because it's gone now. And that was all female as well, wasn't it? So, yeah. Everyone berated Carmen when she first said it, but now it's actually come to fruition. Anyway, so something's happened to Marta Garcia, apparently. Let's have a look and see what this is all about. Desktop audio, please, Dave. Thank you very much. I'm not sure if there's any music on this, so let's have a look. I don't even know who this guy is, so, or it could be a female. I'm not quite sure. Let's find out.
Marta Garcia is the latest victim of misogyny in motorsports. And this is genuinely one of the most puzzling instances of misogyny in motorsport I think I've ever seen in my life. You know, normally these degenerates have a go at a woman that's made a mistake or maybe did something silly because of a rookie error. I remember the flourish jokes people were making when she had the Macau accident, saying, oh my God, this is proof that women can't drive. You know, idiots, right? But this is genuinely one of the maddest instances of misogyny in motorsport I've ever seen. Marta Garcia, for context, yes, it was round 1 of the Michelin Le Mans Cup at Barcelona, Catalonia to be specific. Marta Garcia is leading the GT3 class in her Iron Dames Porsche 911. She's going down the second main straight. There are 2 main straights. There's the one long one on the front, and then there's the smaller one on the back. She's leading going down that, and the second place Ferrari behind her, driven by Alessi O'Donnell, tries to make a move on her mid-straight. She tries to do like a little switchback, and it fails. And he ends up sending her right into the inside wall and causing a fiery accident so bad that they had to red flag the race. Now, luckily, Marta walked away from the accident fine, but it sent her to the hospital for obvious reasons. It was a terrible accident. Now, one would assume, upon viewing this crash, that Marta Garcia was the one, she's the victim. She literally did nothing but hold her line, while Dono was the one that was moving, and his movement led to the accident. But that didn't stop degenerates from going into the comments section and having a go at her, blaming her for the accident and saying, quote, "This is why women..."
Wait, I gotta read these comments. Back to the kitchen, please. Oh dear, where have we heard that before, lads? Where have we heard this is why women don't drive? Women. One more time, women never drive better.
Don't drive. Yeah? Back to the kitchen, please. One more time, women never drive better. Why am I not surprised, huh? Why isn't she at the kitchen? Worst parking ever. This is what happens when you let women drive cars. Probably doing her makeup. Who are these people, man? Honestly, like, what do we have to do to get these guys out of here, man? This is genuinely the most unprovoked, misogynistic abuse I've ever seen a woman get in racing. Usually these guys only show their face the one time a woman makes a mistake. Yeah? They sit down on their couches. Waiting for a woman to have the slightest slip up so that they can hurl abuse at them. But here we have an instance where the woman did nothing wrong. The person at fault was a man. This accident happened because of the errors of a man. And people are in the comments saying this is why women shouldn't drive. What do we do about these people, man? Honestly. What do you do about these people? How?
I know, it's outrageous. Okay, we'll stop it there. Number one, I'm always a little bit suspicious about people that don't show their faces, as you can clearly see by the fact that this guy isn't showing his face. Always a little bit suspicious. Clearly you can see my face in all its ugly glory, and that's just a decision that I made. So people that hide behind, I don't see the point in that. This other bit about misogyny, that's not misogyny, that's just taking the piss. I mean, people have been saying about women should get back into the kitchen since God knows when, back in the 50s, in the 40s. So why is it now turned from taking the piss to misogyny, women hater? I don't get it. I just don't get it. But anyway, there you go. I won't do any more because I was starting to fall asleep, I must admit. Sorry, but I was starting to fall asleep. So there you go. Misogyny in motorsport. No, I don't know. That's just going a little bit too far, I think. Anyway, let's get back to the comments. Spam, pineapple spam. Dave, have you been on your burner accounts again? Yes. No, she's not getting you a bacon sarnie. I know, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Bahrain driver of the day was Jackie Stewart. Wow. Hello, Mr. Regala. Welcome to the stream. Closing walls and ticking clocks. Yes. That's a stock image he's put his logo on. Yeah, I know. Show us the Moaning Yorkshireman channel. Yorkshireman Oliver owns a really good driver. He's great, actually. I'll show you the Moaning Yorkshireman channel later, young man. Right, what else was I going to do? Oh, yes. Well, unfortunately, the name of this channel is F1 Games PlayStation. So you know what I've got to do now, don't you? Yeah, because EA have done another deep dive into the fabulous F1 25. Now, Arav already done a video about this. I did watch a couple of minutes of it before I came on stream, but it was 20 minutes long, so I couldn't watch the whole thing. But basically, one thing's very worrying to me, because they were talking, if anyone's played F1 24, they will know that the AI are atrocious. They just sit there in DRS trains, don't overtake each other, and the whole race is just a complete bore fest. Now, apparently EA have come out and said that you will still see you will still see DRS trains on F1 25, but that's because you see that in real life. And I have to agree with Arav here when he said, but it's not real life, it's a game, and a game should be exciting. You should see things that you don't see in real life. And yeah, I do agree with him there. That is how it should be, because it's a game. It's not even a simulation, is it? We know that. It's nowhere near a simulation, never has been. I always try to pass it off as a simulation, but it's not a simulation. It's an arcade racing game. That's what it is. It always has been. It's an arcade racing game, which they try to, pep up as being a simulation, but it's not. And so it should have things that you don't have in real life, and one of those things should be good racing. And I'm not looking very hopeful for this at all. But anyway, here it is, everyone. Let's have a look at the deep dive. I'll make myself very small. That's what she said. And let's have a look and see what we got in this deep dive from EA.
Second official gameplay deep dive for EA Sports F1 25. The 2025 season is well underway with new team lineups and rookie debuts aplenty. So join us as we explore the improvements to graphics, tracks, and brand new customization options in the most authentic representation of Formula One to date. F1 25 takes a big step forward when it comes to graphical fidelity. Not only do the tracks look better than ever, but we're also improving accuracy too, thanks to light detection and ranging scanning, also known as LiDAR. In Bahrain, Miami, Melbourne, Suzuka, and Imola, the entire circuits have been digitally scanned, generating millions of data points. This data is used for unprecedented accuracy when recreating tracks in-game, ensuring you feel every bump and change in elevation, just like the real drivers.
Okay, I'll just stop it there. That's good. I like that they've made improvements, but only to 3 circuits. If they're only going to do 3 circuits a year, it'll be like 2035 before they get all 24 races done with the LiDAR, and by the time that happens, there'll be lots of different circuits in 10 years' time, obviously, so they'll have to do even more. So that's not a very good production rate, is it, Codemasters, of 3 circuits every single year getting the LiDAR treatment. It is good that they are finally addressing that, because they've never done proper scaling of these circuits before in the F1 games. Gran Turismo beats them in a cocked hat in that department, because they actually have a car that goes round and measures the track. It's got a little scanner on the front of it, and it measures the track inch by inch as it runs round, and that's what they do for the tracks in Gran Turismo 7. So they've really, got on top of that, and that's not anything that Codemasters have ever done before, is actually get a car to go around and actually scan these tracks in, which it looks like they have now done, but it's only 3. So yeah, as I say, it's going to be a long production if it's going to apply to every circuit over the years. But it's good that they've done it, I must admit. But they could probably do with upping that quota next year, maybe do 6 at a time, and then possibly about 3 or 4 years we'll get all the circuits with the LiDAR. Now in Gran Turismo 7, I do believe that on the real life circuits, the difference is 1 inch. Throughout the whole of the circuit, the actual difference between real life and the circuit is 1 inch, which I think is pretty bloody impressive, to be honest. Pretty bloody impressive. I read that statistic somewhere ages ago, and yeah, I was very impressed by that. 1 inch difference. Anyway, let's continue.
Throughout the game, tone mapping improvements create a more dramatic effect across all weather conditions. Off the asphalt, LiDAR has helped in making trees and foliage better match the size and shape of...
Hang on a minute. They're talking about trees in the F1 game, lads. They're talking about trees. Who the chuffing hell cares about trees in the F1 game? You see trees for about a millisecond as it goes past you, don't you? No, sorry. You don't get my vote for that one.
Of their real-life counterparts, with new additions such as Cherry Blossom added to Suzuka. On top of the improved...
Did they just say they've put cherry blossom trees into Suzuka? Who the chuffing hell cares about what the tree is? Oh my god. Carry on.
To lighting, shadows, and circuits overall, an emerging PC exclusive innovation called path tracing is being introduced. If you have a PC capable of experiencing it, path tracing is the most realistic simulation of light on track that we've ever delivered. Moving on from tracks for now, we're delighted to introduce our brand new decal editor for F1 25. Liveries start with a base pattern that you'll be able to customize with sponsor decals.
Now, I must admit, just stopping that there, that is a lot more involved than the previous games. In fact, that's a world apart from the previous games, because basically all you could do was add a sponsor name there, wasn't it? Some on the rear wing, some I think up there on the engine cover, and that's about it. But now you've got some down the side cover here, which is, you've got some here as well, which look a lot better, I must admit. I think you could get one down there before, but I'm not quite sure. But yeah, there's a hell of a lot more to do with the livery designs of your My Team car. The only problem is nobody really cares about My Team, do they? But anyway, there you go. I'm quite impressed with that. That's definitely getting into the Gran Turismo territory. It's not completely there, but it's getting there.
Each of these decals can be moved, rotated, and resized, with design variants unlockable throughout the game. Driver numbers are getting a visual overhaul too. New fonts and colours allow additional personality to shine through in your design when creating liveries for My Team and F1 World. In addition, sponsor liveries will debut in F1 25. These are base patterns for your car built around the visual identity of the many fictional title sponsors in the game. By using the decal editor to add more sponsor decals, you can create a car that wouldn't look out of place on the real-life grid.
Seriously? I must admit though, someone's going to make some right turkeys out of that, aren't they? Because that does look very much more involving than before. Because I say the livery's been absolutely diabolical. And in last year's games, they gave you like 2 liveries and that was it. Horrible. But that looks a lot better, I must admit. I'll give them points for that.
In this year's rebuilt My Team mode, these title sponsors affect income potential, having a knock-on effect to team size and spending. Building a relationship over time with a single sponsor can unlock additional rewards, including owner XP and new decal variants.
Here we go. This is the thing that everyone wants to know, isn't it? Yes. Improved race experience. Here we go.
After a multitude of exciting and unpredictable roster changes in the off-season, the 2025 calendar will no doubt continue to surprise us right through until the season finale in Abu Dhabi. With every driver and team represented in F1 25, including cover star Lewis Hamilton in Ferrari and 6...
What? Hang on a minute. Why do they look worse than like 5 years ago? They just look like cartoon characters, don't they? They do not look real at all.
Abu Dhabi.
I just don't
With
get
every
it.
driver and team represented in F1 25, including cover
I mean,
star
look
Lewis
at poor
Hamilton.
Fernando. Why is his face so long? Hang on, let's see if I can pull
With
that
every
again.
driver and team represented in F1 25,
Look, why is his face so long? Why the long face, lad, Fernando? But they just look like cartoon characters, don't they? Are you telling me that they were face scanned? Because I don't believe you. I just don't believe you. Honestly, 5 years ago, maybe F1 2020, even 2019, they look better than these. It's weird.
including cover star Lewis Hamilton in Ferrari and 6 new rookies, you'll have plenty of choices when deciding who you want to take to the top of the standings. In a first for the official F1 games, you'll be able to experience some of your favourite circuits in a unique way.
Yes, so as confirmed, or almost confirmed in the last video, but they were very cagey about it, we're going to have reverse circuits on F1 25, but only 3.
Race around Silverstone, Zandvoort and the Red Bull Ring in a reverse track layout. Enjoy these once familiar circuits in Grand Prix, time trial and multiplayer, or add them to career modes from your second season onwards.
Now, Zandvoort it's going to be absolutely horrible going backwards, isn't it? With the banking. Oh my god, they couldn't have picked a better track surely than Zandvoort. That's going to be horrible going backwards around that banking. Yucky, yucky. Silverstone, yeah, not too bad. But Zandvoort, nah.
Podium sequences have been reworked too.
Oh, finally they've reworked the podium. How long have we had the same podium celebrations now? 5 years? Something like that.
We've used VR cameras with more natural camera treatments for those celebrations to taste just that little bit sweeter. F1 World has had some exciting updates. First up is a brand new collaborative mode, Invitationals. These are special multiplayer events that open up throughout F1 World. Once you have one available, share access to the event with your friends and work together to complete the shared objective, earning rewards for doing so. We've also made some changes to promote teamwork and respectful racing. Through an updated Driver of the Day system, accomplishments such as cleanest driver and most overtakes will be highlighted. What will your reputation be?
Now, 4 minutes and 40 seconds into this video, they still haven't said anything about the actual gameplay, the AI, nothing.
An upgraded audio experience throughout the game will bring you even closer to the action, both in and outside of the cockpit. Just like races in F1 24, qualifying now benefits from real-world driver dialogue over the radio, as well as drivers occasionally addressing race engineers too.
Okay, looks like you've escaped unscathed, so head down now, yeah? Let's go.
Let's go, babe. You're the best race engineer ever.
Depending on what happens on track, you may encounter some entirely new radio audio sequences, including voice lines for pole positions, flags, and those from team principals.
That is the first official pole since Austria. Well done. That was a mighty qualifying. Well done, mate.
We've more than doubled our...
I must admit, the secret audio I do quite like. If anyone's played F1 97, and I'm pretty much sure everyone in this chat has played F1 97, you will know that there was secret audio within that game. It wasn't secret, but if you played that game, it would take you a very, very long time to hear every single piece of audio that was in that game, because sometimes they would only come up in only certain circumstances, like whichever team you were driving for used to get a little synopsis from Murray about the car and, you know, the team as a whole, but that was only if you were driving in that team. So you would have to go through every single team to actually get all of that voiceover stuff. So I quite like that, the fact that there is some secret sort of messages. It's quite nice if you suddenly get something different turn up in the audio. It's a lot better than like 5 or 6 years ago when all you got was, please be careful into Zandvoort, you're up against the pack. And that was just it. But I'll tell you what, if that engineer Mark Priestley says once more to me, oh, well, it seems like your tyre pressures are at 0. Looks like it may be a sensor fault, so do not worry about it yet. Oh my God, that does my head in. Every single race he says that. So yeah, it's good that there's some secret audio. I must admit, I quite like that.
Our pool of real driver voice lines since F1 24, so be sure to keep an ear out for some familiar voices.
I have to back up for that corner now.
Speaking of which, Naomi Schiff has joined our...
Oh God. Oh God. Oh no. Oh no, please. Please no. Please no. 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 Why, Codemasters? Why? Why did you do it? Why did you do it? Oh my God. Sorry, carry on.
Our roster of experts who feature throughout the game.
Yes, and it's so unfortunate to see because we know that a driver's job, their first job, is to beat their teammate. And in this case, they're not even matching them.
Her talent adds to the largest number of commentary...
Excuse me, did he just say talent with a straight face? Seriously, seriously. Anyone, go on Wikipedia right now and you will find Naomi Schiff's talent. Yes.
and cutscene voiceovers to date, helping to make every race weekend feel just like a real-life broadcast.
The man from Monaco is celebrating once more. A sensational drive being rewarded for Charles Leclerc.
There he is, Alex Jacks. That's someone I'm not even going to take the piss out of because there's no need to, because he's probably the best thing about Formula One right now.
Thanks to NVIDIA audio-to-face technology, we've been able to deliver more extensive facial animations in F1 25.
Look, Max has been world champion for the last 3 seasons and he's looking like he'll make it a 4th. He's the best in the world right now.
From career to breaking point, the reintroduced press interviews now capture drivers delivering their responses in a more authentic fashion, with this technology also extending to facility heads in my team.
Hello, Mathis, head of your engineering facility. Let's discuss where we think we are in terms of car performance.
So there you have it, from industry-leading graphical technologies to new ways to race some of the world's most iconic F1 circuits, EA Sports F1 25 promises to be our most definitive Formula One experience yet.
Don't you say that every single year? I definitely remember you saying that last year.
Be sure to follow at EA Sports F1 for all the latest updates. Thanks for watching.
Wow, there you go. F1 25. Pre-order now. Yes. In other words, show me the money. Show me the money. Yes. It's currently £70 for the standard edition. I did look it up the other day, actually. £70. I don't know how much the iconic edition is. Probably be £90, I expect, or 85, something like that. There it is. There it is, everyone. Well, we had to do it because we are F1 Games PlayStation. But yes. Oh my God. Right, back to the chat because I'm going to be way behind now. I've heard Roland's been doing well in Formula E. Yes, he has. Oliver Roland's lead the championship by 15 points. Yeah, it sounds about right from what I've watched and heard. Roland versus Porsche drivers Pascal Wehrlein and Antonio De Vries Costa this season, I reckon, for the Drivers' Championship. Plano Plessy says, boo, this game is on the same game engine since 2015. You're absolutely right. And if you remember, was it here last week on this stream? I said about the Ego 4 game engine. I think it was last week on this stream. I can confirm, because I saw it online, that F1 25 is still using the Ego 4 game engine. Yes, the Ego engine was the original one that came out on F1 2015, and they've improved it over the years. We had Ego 2, I think, and Ego 3. There may have been some iterations in between that. It might have been Ego 1.4 or whatever, but you get the gist. And now we're on Ego 4. And that's been the same since last year's game. So there you go. I think EA said they did 5 circuits. Did they? Oh, okay. Time to see what they're shoving into the next broker and cash grab. Cody's do scan the tracks, just not very often. Yes, that's true. Niboli also said some stuff at the end of Sunday stream. If you know, you know. Lando Norris is weak, says Will F1. Yes, Lando Norris is never winning a championship. Lando Norris will always be a bottle job. Yes, he will. Hey all, hello Mr. DJM99, welcome to the stream. Sounds like another cash grab. Yes, and did you notice, as I said there was absolutely nothing about the gameplay whatsoever. They're now making a racing game without racing. Because that's basically what it is. All that flim-flam and trees that we don't give a shit about is in the game, but there's no actual racing in the game anymore. No. I'm pretty sure in a couple of years' time, there will not be any racing at all. You'll just be pressing buttons and it'll all get done for you. Yeah. F1 manager games are well better than this EA crap, says Mr. Will F1. I agree with you, but unfortunately, they are now gone and there won't be another one. F1 Manager 24 was the last one, wasn't it? Which is a shame. What did they do to Lewis, says Blind. Exactly. What did they do to Lewis? He looks horrible. I just look like cartoon characters. There is no way they look realistic. They just don't. They just really don't look realistic. DJO99 says, I used to make liveries on Forza Motorsport for the F1 cars. Spent more time doing that than racing. True. I used to do that on Gran Turismo. I used to spend hours doing the liveries. Hours. Lulu is about to cry. DJO99 says, what dreadful likenesses. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely terrible. Fernando Alonso, I don't know what they've done to poor Fernando, but I'm sure his face isn't really that long. Looks like a horse. What about reverse Monaco? Yeah, we could do with a reverse Monaco, but Lewis Hamilton is the greatest of all time, says Mr. Regara. Ooh, reverse circuit, says DJO99. Free. Yes, 3 reverse circuits you got. 3 reverse circuits. And one of them Zandvoort, which, oh my God. I'm pretty sure I've gone round Zandvoort in reverse, because you can do that. You can do that now if you just turn off the penalties. Turn off the penalties, you can do any of the tracks in reverse. Yeah. Obviously, you can't race with the cars in reverse because they won't flip round and follow you around backwards. But you can go around yourself on any of the circuits in reverse if you just turn the penalties off. And I'm pretty sure I've been around Zandvoort and I've in reverse, and it's bloody horrible. It's horrible because the banking's around the other way, and you're like, oh no, can't stand it, and it's just a bit of a gimmick, isn't it, really? I mean, who the hell's really going to care? It's basically just an excuse because they haven't got any other circuits in the game. It's pretty obvious from what they're saying that they're still going to be just the 24 circuits, the real-life circuits. There's not going to be any extras. I mean, over the years, we've had at least 2 or 3 extra tracks, haven't we, as bonuses. We had China, didn't we, even when that wasn't on the calendar as a bonus track, but looks like they got rid of them all. So all they've done is come up with a cheap alternative, basically, which is, let's use the same tracks, but let's just run them in reverse. Now, of course, they have said that they've turned all the signs round as well, which is something that I did talk about, I think, a couple of weeks ago, which I was concerned about, that if they didn't, it would look horrible. So, yeah, they are going to turn all the signs round, so that's good. But it's just cheapness, isn't it, really, because they haven't got to do any circuits. They just use the original one, just turn it round. That's just a coding issue, that's all that is. Planope says, boo, F1 World. Yeah, boo, F1. Hello, Mr. Helio Trophy. What the stream? He says, Jesus. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's talking about F1 25. Plano Plessy says, I actually cringed at that. The best race engineer ever. Yes. I ended up getting a synopsis from Murray mentioning about Michael Schumacher. Yes, there you go. And I say F1 97 is a gem with all those little audio cues that only crop up very, very occasionally sometimes. Really. I think there's a YouTube video somewhere where every single line that Murray used, and in fact there was a lot of cut lines that they didn't use in the game, but they are included, I think, in this YouTube video. Let's see if you can find it somewhere. But yeah, it includes every single line that Murray makes in the game, which is quite good. It lasts for ages. I think it's about a couple of hours long because he did say a lot. But yeah, it's great to see. And I used to love that feature in F1 97. You'd literally be driving, I was using it a couple of years ago, I think, on YouTube. And I got some new audio that I'd never heard before. And I was like, wow! It's so nice that happens. As for what he said, in the words of Chantel, impossible. Okay. Not every audio, as some of them was about MasterCard Lola team. That's true. Yes, it was. That's right. That was some of the cut audio, I think. Naomi is in the game, says Will F1. Yes. Helium Trophy says she's trilingual. Is she? Good for her. Good for her. Plynal Plessy says, wait, this isn't Ariana Bravo? No, it's not Ariana Bravo, Mr. Plynal Plessy. If it was Ariana Bravo, I would be shoving down my cash right now and saying, you know what, EA Sports, give me 5 copies. I don't care. I'll have 5 copies of F1 25. I don't care. But no, we have to get Naomi Schiff, which for people who have only got the Channel 4 highlights coverage, we don't even hear her because she's on Sky Sports. Yes. I still hear her, unfortunately, in the F1 game, because even though I've got it on the British commentators or the Channel 4 commentators, she still keeps cropping up for some unknown reason, but there you go. But yeah, so, yeah, not good. Not good. And as I say, if anyone wants to see her racing credentials, then just look up on Wikipedia. It reads pretty much almost on par with Carmen Jordan's career, to be honest. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. DGM99 says, I've got used to Naomi and Bernie. Naomi. Oh, Bernie Collins, yeah. I have so many people talk about Bernie Collins, saying that they just can't understand her thick Irish accent. Yes. I've heard her a few times on YouTube, and I can understand it perfectly. But I can understand how people can't understand it. I get a lot of complaints from the Americans because they get the Sky coverage over there now, and they say they can't understand a word of it. Scott won't be happy, says Will F1. Bernie Collins, not Eccles Cakes. Yeah, so I got that. Yeah, Bernie Collins, not Bernie Eccles Cakes. Jesus, says Will F1. I'm here, Will. I'm here. What do you need? What do you need? Plundle Pessy says, I had a look at the back of my F1 2014 game. It said it was the most accessible F1 game. I know. It's exactly what I said. They say that every single year. Same shit. I think... because last year they said it had a dynamic handling model. And if you go back, I think, to 2022, I'm sure that says dynamic handling model on the back of the game. I don't know now because I get a lot of them digitally. I don't get them on disc anymore, but I used to get them on disc, and I'm pretty sure on 22 it said dynamic handling model. Same thing. I just skipped a year and then now they call it on 24. It's just ridiculous. When in reality it was a copy paste of F1 2013 without classic cars and tracks. Yes, it was. F1 2014 was. Carbon copy. I think I've mentioned this before, but when I started that career mode on the all season, someone said to me, oh yeah, you'll be happy with that. It's got one of the best career modes of any F1 game. And I played it. I started playing it. I was like, really? It just feels exactly the same as last year's, which it would do because it was just a copy paste job. So I don't know where they got that from. Will says they say that every year. They do. F1 2016, the complete F1 experience. Well, that game was actually great. Yeah, it was. I'm playing 2016 now, and yeah, it's a great game. Great game. 2016 was all right. Yeah, it was all right. 2017, the most thrilling and complete game ever. I know. It's just absolute bullshit, isn't it? Every year. I expect EA and Codemasters are quite happy now that sort of digital games are more prevalent than actually buying it, because they don't have to come up with those bullshit covers for them now, so people can't actually check and look and see, hang on, didn't you say that last year? So I'm pretty sure they're quite happy about that. 2017 was shite, says Will F1. There you go. F1 2018, the most accurate F1 car simulation model. I remember that as well. Yes, the most accurate F1 car simulation model yet. Yeah, 2018 was the year that they actually called the game a simulation. F1 simulation. I remember that. They really went to town on that, because of course that was the first year we had the Halo bar, and of course the ERS, which had been automatic in all the other previous games, was now actually manually toggled by us. What a bloody disaster that was, because it had those 5 modes, if you remember that. Oh my god, you literally spent no time driving the car. All you did was spent going up and down the ERS. What was it? Off, medium, high, hot something, overtake. I can't. There was 5 modes, wasn't there, on the ERS? And of course for 2019 they reduced it to just a couple, which is a lot better. They have gone up one for 2024 now. You've now got 3 modes on that again, but that's not too bad. But yeah, 2018 was just terrible with the 5 modes of ERS deployment. It really was. As I say, I spent more time looking on the right-hand side of the screen to see what ERS mode I was than actually racing the cars. But there you go. Show us the moaning Yorkshireman how broken is F127 video. Spam, final spam. Spam, spam, spam. Vettel said some good little words for Norris I saw. Did he? Oh, okay. Yeah, he did, but Lando is incapable. There's a video somewhere with all the Sony F1 PS1 game lines. Yeah, there is. Somewhere on YouTube. Plonel says the Formula 1 2001 was funny as it started with Martin counting and then Murray interrupting him shouting driver names. Yes. Oh dear. 55, 56, 57. Ricardo Zonda. Forza Horizon 5 is coming on the PS5 next week. Yes. I did hear about that. Now no one's buying the Xbox. They've decided, oh well, we'll put it on PlayStation. Get a few of our coppers back. Non-Irish, says Helium Trophy. Yes. Sorry, had to head off for a bit. No problem, 43 lesbians. I hope you're having fun with those 43 lesbians. They better not go to Belfast. No, they better not. They better not go to Belfast because they would never understand the Belfast way of speaking, would they? Oh my God. What was in that F125 trailer? Pretty much nothing of interest, really. It's a racing game. Only this year they've decided there won't be any racing in it. No. It's just cutscenes, audio, and that's it, basically. Yeah, 70 quid for a load of cutscenes this year. They've totally eliminated the racing part of it. Yeah, they can't bother anymore. So we'll just leave that bit out. Nobody's interested anyway, so we'll just put more audio in it, and that's it. All done. Hello, Mr. Polish Eddie. Welcome to the stream. He says, hey-oh. Yeah, hello. Mr. Regard says, Nathan Drake, Ratchet and Clank, Spy the Dragon, many mascots. Yes, indeed. Champ92 says, hello, Mr. Champ92. Polish Eddie says, what's up? Lando... Oops. I don't know why it keeps doing that. It's horrible. Lando Norris was dreadful in Bahrain. Yes, I agree. Have a nice race weekend, you all. Yes. Lewis Hamilton was average in Bahrain. Yes, he was. Ooh, could throw in Crash Bandicoot. Yes, you could. Brian says, I haven't gotten to F1 2014 yet. I'm still getting through F1 2010 and your second season at Virgin, having signed a contract without knowing it was for next season. That sounds about right. What have I still got my bloody headphones in? I don't know. Let's take them out. That sounds about right. Oh, I remember that Virgin car on F1 2010. It was horrible. It never went all the way, for one thing. Bum. Yes, but that was a horrible car, that Virgin. Absolutely dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. Both were kind of average, to be honest. Norris was rubbish at Bahrain, crap all weekend. 2018 was fine, I guess, says 43 Lesbian. Yeah, it was alright. Yeah, it was alright. And they were definitely trying to get into sort of simulation handling, which a lot of people didn't like, but I actually thought it was pretty decent in that regards. So yeah, it was alright. It's starting to get there. The only problem was the career mode. Very, very dry. I remember playing through that, and it was a very dry career mode. Very dry, because of course there was no driver changes, so you had just a standard 10 season career mode. And of course that's right. It introduced the driver changes. You could change teams every 4 races, couldn't you? Which I found absolutely bizarre. But yeah, you could change teams every 4 races. That was weird. You could change your contract. That's right, I remember that. They certainly dumbed down on that now. But yeah, you could change every 4 races. Very weird. If he was rubbish, he would have been 8th or something. Champ says, Piastri, Norris, Verstappen, my top 3 in front of Russell and Leclerc. My Jeddah prediction. Thank you for that. McLaren had a dominant car as Piastri showed, says Will F1. Yes, that could happen. Norris was rubbish, got saved by the quickness of his car. Piastri did well here last year. McLaren never won there, but I think that's able to change with this car. He was still somewhat there. Florida Player says that Gran Turismo 7 player count will drop next week. Yes. That he drove right. He really wasn't, so. Champ 92 says WEC, Imola and F1 Jeddah, it's going to be cool. Yes. Norris fully deserved Nakajima of the week. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Who wants to know what this week's of the week is? I'll tell you right now. It's... No. We're not going there. We're not going there. Yes. Behrman should have got 4th then. Now, Nakajima was worldly. Norris is not. Norris needs to be let go from McLaren, says 43 lesbians. Let go from McLaren. Well, that's a little bit harsh, I must admit. I mean, yeah, I mean he's still doing something. Admittedly, not as good as he should be doing, but he's still doing something. But he's definitely starting to drift into Daniel Ricciardo territory, I do agree. And if he carries on, he could dangerously drift into Daniel Ricciardo territory. Guy has 0 charisma. Yes, Norris needs sacking. Time to back Oscar and give someone like Yuki or Albon as a solid number 2. Yes. I'd like to see Yuki as the number 2 at McLaren. I must admit, I'd like to see that. Sadly, Stroll is always going to stay there at Aston Martin like forever. Yes, he is. Unless, I think I said this in a reply, didn't I? Unless, of course, next year's car, designed fully by Adrian Newey, turns out to be a banger and they end up being quite high in there, then Daddy Stroll might have to seriously consider the fact that his son's still in the sport. He might have to think, I don't know. But, of course, if you've still got Fernando Alonso in there as the team leader, it's not really going to be able to shine that Aston Martin, even if it's a really great car, is it? So, yeah. Difficult decisions for Aston Martin. We will see what happens next year. I'm waiting to see what happens with that Aston Martin next year, to see whether Adrian's going to make a great car, or is he? I mean, let's face it, he's getting on. He's well into his 60s now. Perhaps his days of making great cars is behind him. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. Even I've given up, Orlando, says Mr. 43 Lesbians, who is a die-hard McLaren fan. Norris to win this year's title and retire early like Ash Bartley. Norris to win the title. Wow, what a take that is. It's simply true. Can we have a revival of the complete guide to every F1 game on PlayStation Series now? The all seasons is winding down, and let's be honest, getting a bit dull. The complete guide. Bloody hell, I made that years ago, didn't I? Wasn't that about 5 or 6 years ago now? I can't remember. Long time ago. I sort of updated the complete guide with the 100% races, really, didn't I? Because I did go in depth into the game while I was doing the 100%. So, I don't know. F1 2018 I felt was a bit of a step down. Then 2019 was better and 2020 built upon it. Yes, I agree. But then I found out EA was going to buy Codemasters. I knew it was the beginning of the end. Or Eden Hazard. Just a shame they got the exclusive F1 license, a bit like the NFL license that they've had since 2005. Yeah, it is a shame they got the license. As I've said, I lots of people saying, oh, you know, because of the sales, as I say, the sales for F124 was 76% down on F1 2020. Not 76% down on F1 23, 76% down on F1 2020, which sold, I think, 1.2 million copies, so like, anyway. But still a huge drop from F1 2020. But as I say, no one else wants the license. No one else can be bothered to make F1 games because they're too, you know, it's too much of a niche market. So I think EA will still be making these games in 10, 20 years, to be honest. They've still got all the other sport games, which I understand have really, you know, gone down in buying numbers as well. But they don't care. As long as people are buying them and they make enough to not only break even, but make a little bit of profit as well, and I can't see any reason why they're going to stop. And, you know, as I say, I think they'll still be making F1 2035 made by EA. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen, really. Unless there's some fundamental shift and nobody buys the F1 game and it's, you know, it sells just a few thousand copies, I can't see any change. Not for, as I say, another 10 years. I think we'll still have EA F1 games for another 10 years. I'm pretty sure of that anyway. Pretty sure. Because nobody else wants it. Nobody else wants to do it. No one else can be bothered. There's no studios out there that are champing at the bit to get the F1 license. No one. They're just, no, can't be bothered. Let them do it. That's what they say. Let them do it because we don't want it. We don't want it. It's just too complicated with all the licenses and the money they have to pay out to getting face scans and all that. It's just too much money for other studios to start that from scratch, because that's what they'd have to do. They'd have to build that from scratch. They'd have to do the tracks, the cars, the face scanning, all that. That's be done from scratch. So only a mega studio, a really big studio, would have the resources to do that. Something like Take-Two Interactive. They're the only sort of studio that would have the resources to do that. And, you know, they just can't be bothered. They can't be bothered. Why would you do that when you know that the games are going down in sales? You wouldn't do it, would it? You'd only take over a franchise that was doing really, really well, wouldn't you? Really, really well. But they're not. So, yeah, why bother? They're just going to keep it with EA. Chapter 2 says, Ariana Bravo. Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. 2019, says 43 Lesbians, was when they started putting in an awful AI characteristics where they would queue up behind you and then barge past you regardless of the difficulty. Yeah, that was true. I think that was the year, wasn't it, when it had the dynamic AI handling system. I think that was on the back of the case. I can't remember now. But yes. By the way, Dave, Nakajima's debut was in 2007, not 2008. Ah, there you go. F1 2017 was a shite game, says Will F1. There you go. Hello, Mr. 6 Silent 6 Reaper 6. I can see 3 6s in that title. That's very worrying indeed. He says run. Run. There you go. That's his comment. Run. Let's go. It's because I always like to look at new people. Let's see if I can find his. Here we go. Here we go. Let's find his channel. Her channel. Could be. Not quite sure. There we go. 6 Silent 6 Reaper 6. I get it now. I get it. I get the 3 6s. I get it. Not got any content. Joined March the 25th, 2025. So just short of a month ago now. Well, welcome to the stream, Mr. 6 Silent 6 Reaper 6. Yes. Welcome to the stream. Always good to welcome new people to the stream. Red Bull have just said they would compromise the 2026 season to develop the current RB21 car for Verstappen to defend his title. Interesting. Well, they certainly need to do something because that car is definitely not a championship winning. Obviously, you know, not on the back of the last race. But overall, that car doesn't look like a World Championship winning car. So they need to do something, definitely. So stop going on about Norris winning the championship. He's never winning one. Mr. Six Silent 6 Reaper 6 says, Shrek me, Daddy. Oh dear. Oh dear. They know without him they are lost. And let's face it, Red Bull need to, since they use Cold War wind tunnel, which goes back to the dating of 1947. Yeah, they do. You're right. 1947 wind tunnel. Amazing, isn't it? Amazing it's still working, to be honest. I still hope for him. He's going to win that championship. They badly, madly need a new wind tunnel. Yes. So you're not funny, as someone said on Chaz HD stream. Okay. EA have fallen off a cliff since 2014, although I think they started to decline in 2005. EA declined decades ago, yes. Lando Norris, Lovey and Fanboy. It's getting spicy in this chat again. EA Sports, it's out of the game nowadays. Yes, it is. How many games were there based on the 2000 season again? Good question. I think it was either 4 or 6. I'm going to say 4. I'm going to say 4. I think the worst one actually was 99. I think there was more than that on 99. Let me look that up a minute. Oh, come on, AI Google. That's not correct. There was not... Well, yeah, there was one F1 99, but I want to know how many F1 99 seasons there was, because there was more than one, because F1 World Grand Prix was the 99 season, wasn't it? F1 Championship season for the PlayStation 2 was based on the 99 season. F1 something or other on the PS1 was based on the 99. There was loads of them. There was loads of them. I'm sure there was. F1 World Grand Prix 99. There you go, F1 World Grand Prix 99. That was all. I think there was 5 99 Grand Prix. Sure there was. Bloody hell, you can still buy this? You can still buy this on Amazon for PC? Oh my god. Anyway, that wasn't the question, was it? The question was 2000. 2000. Hang on. Let me get a notepad. Stick it over there. There we go. Right, well there was F1 2000. That was by Studio 33, wasn't there? F1 2000. Blimey. There was loads of them, weren't there? There was F1. No, wait a minute. Formula 1 2000. That's right. No, F1 2000 was the EA one, and then Formula 1 2000 was the Studio 33 one, wasn't it? Then there was F1 Championship Season 2000. That was the follow-up to F1 2000. That's right. That was on the PS1. And then on the PS2, you also had F1 Championship Edition. I'll just put Part 2. So that was another one. Then you had F1 Grand Prix 2. F1 World Grand Prix, wasn't it? Grand Prix 2. That was based on the 2000. Yeah, there was loads of them. I'm sure there's others I'm missing as well, but that was a brief synopsis there. But yeah, there was loads of them. Absolutely oodles of them. Absolutely oodles of them. EA Sports, it's out of the game. Yes, it's out of the game. Player says F1 2000, F1 Championship both EA, Formula 1 2000, and F1 World Grand Prix 2000. Not sure who it was by EDOS. It was, I can't remember. I think it was IDOS, yeah. The 99 version was Lancor, I think. Doing that, Chris Brown and T-Pain, if you know, you know. We demand an update to the complete guide series. It's not an option. We don't know. Stop with the pop culture references because no one understands them here. Fantastic. It might have been 6 if we also count F1 Career Challenge and F1 Challenge 99. Yeah, that's true. That's true. 99 had Formula 1 99, F1 World Grand Prix, F1 World Grand Prix Dreamcast, F1 Racing Championship, F1 Career Challenge, but these two were the same game. I meant F1 World Grand Prix 2 for the Dreamcast. The first one had the 1998 season. I also forgot for 2000 Grand Prix 3, 2000 edition. Yes, there were 3 games with multiple ports based upon 1999. 5 based upon 2000 for PlayStation at least. There's also meant to be a sequel for F1 Racing Championship about the 2000 season, but it got cancelled. Hello, Mr. Poochie Head. Welcome, bloody hell. Here's a blast from the past. Mr. Poochie Head's in the house. Well, as he's in the house, and he hasn't been in the house for a while, he gets a special TB wave from TB the Bear. Look at this. We remember Mr. Poochie Head, don't we? Yes. Back in the good old days. Back in the good old days when I used to play proper F1 games. You remember those ones? F1 97. Oh my God. Yes. Yes. He says Gaston Mazzacane was in more games than Lando Norris. Yes. Formula 1 was a good game at some point. No, Formula 1 was. He says, hi Dave. Hello sir. Welcome to the stream. I'm sure F1 2000 sold more than the other games given that it came out around the time the season started. Yes, that was one of the real talking points of that game. That's one of the reasons I got it straight away as well. It was supposed to come out, correspond with the first Grand Prix, which I think was in Australia back then in 2000. Unfortunately, it missed that deadline, but only by a week. But it was due to, back in the days when they used to have to print them all on, what would that have been? CDs. Print them all on CDs and to get them out to the shops and to the distributors and to get them all over the place. Herculean task. Now all you do is go onto the PlayStation store and press buy, and you got the game. Whereas back then it was a huge task for people who made games to get them actually into people's homes. Huge task, as I say, involving distributors and CD pressers. They had to press all those CDs as well. Oh my god, those were the days. Those were the days. So unfortunately, it missed its deadline by 1 week. It was all planned to come out at exactly the same weekend, which would have been epic, but it missed it by 1 weekend. But I'll give them props for giving it a go to actually get a Formula 1 game to try and start at exactly the same time as the season started. I think that's the first and possibly the last time that has ever happened, because it's never happened with games since then. Now, unfortunately, because they got that game out so early, there was lots of things they hadn't incorporated into the game. Number one was, of course, the Arrows livery, which was only announced like 3 weeks before they started the first Grand Prix in Australia. So, yeah, they still had the old Arrows livery, and lots of other little things hadn't been sort of finished due to the rushing that they'd had to get the game out. That's why they had to bring out F1 Championship season 6 months later, which had all the updates like Arrows, and it had improvements to the game, including the difficulty level, which I've been into before. They didn't actually improve the difficulty level, they just took out the pit stop routine for all the other cars. So if you want to make an easy game harder, if you take out the pit stop routine, that means that you've got to pit because you actually would have run out of fuel if you didn't pit, whereas all the AIs didn't have to pit, which means they all automatically got a 22-second advantage over you because they didn't have to pit. So that's how you make an easy game a lot harder without actually putting any effort into it. Yeah, it's just take out the pit stop routines. That's how they did it. So well done for them. TB Bear, yes. F1 2011 and 12, Slap, for example. Yeah, 2011 was pretty horrible, to be fair. Pretty horrible. What are your thoughts on old console emulators? What are your thoughts on old console emulators on PC? I've been looking at it, and I have to say I'm quite impressed. One of the bugbears that really got me with emulation when it first came out was the graphical artifacts on screen. So especially in driving games, you'd see sort of half the car sort of smearing off into the screen, and I thought that was a little bit. But I have to say it has got a lot better. I understand that the PS1 emulation scene now is pretty much perfect. The emulators they now use for PS1, I understand one's called the Duck Station, but the emulators they use for PS1 now, I understand, are pretty much perfect. So if you haven't got an old PS1 or you haven't got a PS3 anymore, they are a great alternative for emulators on the PC. So PS1 is pretty much sorted. Also PS2 as well. I've got one, PSX, something like that, PCXX for the PS2. I understand that is pretty much sorted now. After years of trying, they have finally got. So pretty much any PS2 game runs very well through emulation. The real bugbear, unfortunately, is still going on, and that's the PlayStation 3. But that's due to the very complicated architecture of the PS3, which was basically the fact that it wasn't designed on PC architecture. They went away and did their own version, and so unfortunately now, years down the line in emulation, it's very, very difficult to emulate PS3 games. They are coming on. I've been watching their progress. They are doing a hell of a lot better than they were just 5 years ago, but it still isn't there. It still isn't there. But that's, as I say, mostly to do with the complications of the PS3 console. You see, the PS3 was a very powerful console when it came out, very powerful indeed. So to emulate it, your computer has to be twice as powerful as a PS3, because it has to emulate everything that the PS3 could do, and it has to have enough power of its own to actually emulate it in the first place. So it's got to be double the power of a PS3. And even a really up-to-date modern PC with the latest graphics card in it and shitloads of RAM, which RAM is very important in a PC, especially for emulation. Even if you had like 64 gigabytes, which I think is overkill, to be honest, 64 gigabytes of RAM in it, it's got to be that powerful to be able to do it. And it is coming along, but unfortunately I think it'll be a long time before PS3 can be sort of said to be there. And of course, the other problem is it's easy to do PS1 games because they came out on CD. It's also easy to do PS2 games because they come out on DVD. So if you've got a computer, any computer, last 10 years, although they are now getting rid of them, had a CD and a DVD drive in it. So to emulate these games or to rip them off to get them to emulate was very, very easy because, as I say, you've already got a CD and a DVD player in the computer. PS3 is different because the games are on Blu-rays, so you'd have to have a Blu-ray drive in the computer, which not very many PCs have got. Very few, in fact, have actually got Blu-ray drives in them. It really didn't catch on in the PC market, so you'd have to go and buy yourself an external Blu-ray just to get the ISO off the game and onto your computer. So that's a stumbling block before you even start. And then, of course, you've got to get it working through the emulation, which I say is incredibly difficult, but they are doing it. Of course, emulation for PS4 isn't really a factor because the PS5 can play PS4, so people really aren't. PS4 emulation exists, but it's not really necessary because the PS5 plays PS4. So if you want to play a PS4 game and you haven't got a PS4, you can just play for the PS5. It plays like, I don't know, 90% of the PS4 games, although I've got two that it won't actually play, which is quite annoying, but there you go. But yeah, so PS3 is a lot better, but it's going to need a lot of work. Now, it's unfortunate that it is the PS3 because you've got so many classics there that are currently locked on PS3. You've got the Resistance series, Resistance 1, 2 and 3. That's never been remastered, and that's locked now on PS3, because no one's coming out with any remasters for that. You've also got the 3 Dirt games, Dirt 1, 2 and 3, and although Dirt, the original, wasn't so great, Dirt 2 was absolutely fantastic, and Dirt 3 just improved on that. And it's a shame that they are stuck on the PlayStation 3 because nobody is going to remaster a racing game. It's just not done. People are remastering adventure games and stuff like that, but racing games, it's very rare that racing games are going to get remastered, and no one's going to remaster a Dirt series game. It's just not on. It really isn't. So it's just a shame that they're stuck on there as well on the PlayStation 3. You've got Dirt 1, 2 and 3. As I say, they were great games. But more importantly than that, you've also got the F1 games. 2010, 11, 12, 13 and 14. They are all languishing on the PlayStation 3, and eventually, if they can't get working in emulation and everyone's PS3s die, which unfortunately it's going to happen, one day this planet will be here and there'll be no PS3s on it because they haven't been made since, God knows, 2014 I think was the last PS3s being made. So eventually they will all die. They will all die and there'll be no PS3s left. So the only option will be through emulation if you want to play a PS3 game. So yeah. Yikes, says Mr. Regala. Worth pointing out, F1 2000 was developed by Visual Sciences, who did F1 98, but I'm sure they had a little bit more time to do it compared to that game being rushed in time for the last race of 1998. Yes. 1998, the best F1 game ever. Yes. The only good game Visual Monkeys ever made. Yeah, it was. F1 2000 was great. It really was. I was very, very impressed. It even beat the Studio 33 F1 2000, which I thought was very finicky and I didn't like at all. Didn't like that game at all. Very finicky. And it had the same horrible collision detection as F1 99. So yeah, not good. Not good. But 2000 was great. Poochiehead says, I played F1 2000 on a PS1 emulator, upscaled to high res, and I see details that I never saw back in the day on the old CRT TVs. The draw distance is more vivid. Yeah, oh, that's great. I love that. F1 2000 on a PS1 emulator. Yes. 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 I say the only game I emulated was F1 2009 for my all seasons career. That's the only one I've ever emulated. Unfortunately, the computer I was using at the time was not a very good one, and so I had numerous problems with the emulator. But thankfully, I found a forum post which told me some settings to put in, which I did, and it did improve it immensely. In fact, for season 2 of that F1 2009, it did run pretty much flawlessly, so it was pretty decent. Plumber says, I wish I had a PC again just for PC SX2. Yeah, PC SX2 is really, really good. Just before they did the remastered of Tomb Raider, the Angel of Darkness, you know, the 4, 5 and 6 remastered, I actually put the Angel of Darkness on the PS2 through the what's it called again? PC SX2 emulator. I'll tell you what, it ran perfect. Absolutely perfectly. There was not any graphical glitches. There was nothing. It just ran flawlessly. I was very, very impressed with that. But of course now it's come out on remastered, so I just use that one. Pootyhead says the PS3 emulator eats up CPU. You need a top of the range CPU. Yeah, you do. You do. As I said earlier, to emulate anything, your computer has got to be twice as powerful as what you're trying to emulate. So if you're trying to emulate a PS3, which, as I say, was a pretty powerful console for its day, it really was. I mean, it could output 1080p, which a lot of the games didn't. There was only like Gran Turismo 5 and 6 in 1080p, and I think about half a dozen others. I seem to remember Prince of Persia was in 1080p as well. But apart from that, most of the games were only in 720. GTA 4 was only in 720. And so, but the actual console, for its time, was very, very, very powerful. Because it was a jack of all trades. It did loads of other things except just as a games console. It was a multimedia player as well. It was the first and only Sony PlayStation console where you could actually transfer video files directly onto the hard disk of the PS3 and play them back at your leisure. They've never repeated that due to piracy. If anyone's ever wondered why you can't do that on the PS4 or the PS5, it's because the fact that you were transferring files from USB stick onto the PS3. That's an open invitation to have your PS3 hacked. So that's why Sony took it out. And now you can play video files on a PS4 and a PS5, but you can't save them to the hard disk. And I think that's so sad that you can't do that, because I used to love that. I really did. I'd have like old TV shows back in the day. I can't remember what I was watching now. I think it was probably Arrow or The Flash or something like that. Anyway, you know, the stuff that everyone was watching back in the day, and I'd have like a whole season of that, and I just whack it on the PS3. So then I'd be playing a game for an hour, probably an F1 or something, or you know, doing a gameplay for YouTube. I'd play that for an hour, and then I'd simply go to the video section and start playing the Arrow or the Flash or something to have a little rest, and then I'd go back to the F1 a little bit later. It was just so great that you could do that. And yeah, I know you can do that if you've got a flash drive in your PS4 or your PS5, but it's not the same because you can't save it. And the other brilliant thing about the PS3 was that because it was on the hard drive, it remembered where you were, so you could only watch like 10 minutes, and then you could come back to it later, and you could resume where you'd left off, which you can't do on the 4 or the 5 because it's not saved. And so as soon as you stop the file and go back to it, it starts from the beginning again, which is really bloody annoying. Really bloody annoying. Plumber says the PSP emulator works fine, but when it first came out on iOS, one of the games crashed, but I reinstalled the game months later and it works fine now. I bet the PS4 game that won't play on PS5 is that Micro Machines pile of cat Cody's fair. No, it isn't actually. I'll tell you what it is. It's what's it called? WRC. I got 2. WRC 8 won't. It will play, but it's absolutely bizarre. The colours are all wrong. Or it's all the wrong colours. It's horrible, and it's as dark as shit. You literally have to put the headlights on in full daylight because you can't see where you're going. Very, very weird problems with that game on the PS5. it just won't have it, and so I don't play it. And yet I've still got my PS4. I put it in the PS4 and it's playing fine. So it's definitely compatibility issue, but it just looks weird. All the trees are purple. All the trees are purple. They should be green and they're all purple. Very, very weird. It's like some kind of weird HDR effect that's gone wrong. Very, very weird. But no, the other one is one of the Tomb Raider games. Not the mainline series, the spin-offs. Osiris. Something Osiris. Tomb Raider Osiris. It was a spin-off one. It plays, but once you get to a certain point in any of the levels, you get these big black lines coming down the screen, and you can't play the game because you can't see what you're doing, because these black lines completely cover up what you're supposed to be doing, so it's unplayable. So they're the two games that won't play on the PS5. Plumber says, I had Dirt 2 on PSP and it was rubbish. Yeah, it wasn't very good on PSP, but on PS3 it was great. Can you you had so many guest stars in it as well, including Mr. Mohammed Ben Salami, or whatever I call him, the head of the FIA, because he used to be a rally driver. Can you show the two circuits in Taiwan? I did see what the chat thinks. I will do. Didn't the PS2 let you play DVDs? Yes, it did. Yes, you could play DVDs on the PS2. Another feature that I used to love, because back in the day, that was also my DVD player. So I'd sit there. Now, the only problem, of course, is you couldn't do one and then the other without getting off your chair, unfortunately. So yeah, but if you wanted to, you could play a game, you could take the game out, you could put a DVD in and watch a film. Great, absolutely great. Yes, it did. Basically, the reason it's it was a lot of people's first and only DVD player. I remember my sister got a PS2. She wasn't into gaming at all. She got the PS2 purely for the DVD player, because she wanted to watch movies and she didn't want to buy a DVD player, and she wanted the fact that you could play games just for the kids to play, and that was the only reason she got it. But she mainly wanted it for the fact that it played DVDs. You only play the Tomb Raider games for Lara's knickers, just a bit. That's untrue. Now let me just cover the screen up a minute. And bloody, I'm nearly out of time already. I've been waffling on. Waffle. Waffle. Where's it gone? I've lost it. Oh, here it is. Right, Mr. 43 Lesbian sent me this. I found the link on Instagram. So it's from Paddock Passion, and it's the top 10 modern street circuits of all time, according to us. And they've got Monaco, Macau, Long Beach, Marina Bay. Is that Pa? Adelaide. Oh, look, why is Adelaide? Is that used now for something other than F1? Because I only watch F1, so I don't know. Melbourne, Jeddah, Baku, and St. Petersburg. Really? Really? Right, let me find your tracks. Let's go that way. And then where does it go? It goes... Alright, okay, it goes that way. That way. Right, here we go. Mr. Lesbians, otherwise known as KDF1, has made 2 tracks at... I've forgotten what he said now. Where's my stream gone? I've lost the stream. Where am I? Oh, it's alright. Oh, hello. I got a phone call. Hang on. What the hell? So I'll get back to them in a minute. Oh God. Where am I? Can't remember where I am now. I've lost the plot. The Agriton. So here we go. Here's made these tracks. So give your ratings out of 10 for these tracks. There's the first one. I'll leave it on screen for 30 seconds. And here's the second one. So give your ratings out of 10. I'm sure Mr. Regal was going to join in on this one. And you will. Give your ratings out of 10. And putting the DVD player in helped towards the lasers breaking every 10 minutes. Yes, it did. Yes. Add lasers used for V8 Super R. Thank you. Viagra timer gone off. Which one do you prefer, the first or the second one? If anyone ever answers, guess. You guessed correctly. You guessed correctly. Answer, you gits. They're doing it on purpose, you know. They're doing it on purpose. Doing it on purpose. Doing it on purpose. Oh. I prefer the first one. The first one, I think. Yeah, that one. That one. That's my personal preference. There you go. I think everyone else has fallen asleep. Right, everyone. I'm just going to mute my microphone for a couple of minutes, just in case this phone call is something emergency. That one's a mothball track that closed a few years ago, which I've modded. I understand. Right, I'm just going to mute my sound for a moment while I answer this call, because just in case it's an emergency, it might be. I don't know. Anyway, you can still see me. I'll be back in about a minute. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I was just checking. No, it wasn't. It wasn't an emergency. It was actually my nieces asking what the theme tune to Knight Rider was. Can you believe that? So I'm sitting there going. I don't know why they wanted to know, but I just did it, you know. Anyway, there we go. We best talk about the Choppy Grand Prix. Yes. Let's talk about the Choppy Grand Prix. It is Dubai at Jeddah this weekend. Just see if there's any F1 news before we continue. We've got 50 bloody adverts. We've got 15 hours and 40 minutes until I presume the first practice session. Paddock inside of Verstappen's Red Bull future proves a hot topic as Alonso and Russell reflect on their own plans. Wow. Wow. Fantastic. Yes, what time is the Saudi Grand Prix? Because it's different time, isn't it? All these adverts. Okay, it's a normal weekend. No sprint round. 8 o'clock local time for Jeddah. Don't know what that refers to in our time though. It's 8 o'clock. So it's going to be an evening race, which means, oh my god, the highlights won't be on. Oh, they'll be on Channel 4 about 2 o'clock in the morning. That's what they usually do with Jeddah, I remember. Yeah, about 2 o'clock in the morning, the highlights will be on. 1:30, something like that. Okay, there we go then. Let's just have a look at the driver standings before... No, driver standings, come on. Before we go. There it is. There it is. I found it at last. Here we go. This is Will's favourite part of the show. I think I did this on Monday as well, didn't I? Anyway, in the lead currently at the moment is Lando Norris with 77 points. Oscar's Pastries in second with 74. Maxi Boys in third with 69. George and Russell's in fourth with 63. And then we've got a huge gap, over 30-point gap between George Russell and Charles Leclerc. He's only got 32 points. And then Kimi Antonelli's got 30. Lulu's got 25. Alexander Albon's got 18. SD Bestie's got 14. And in 10th place, we got Lance Stroll with 10 World Championship points. So, is it going to be another Oscar's Pastry victory? I think it could be. Very fast circuit, of course, at Jeddah. Very fast indeed. We will find out. We will find out who wins at the end of the weekend. Right. I think everyone else has fallen asleep, so I'm going to say good night. Have you seen the new track that's going to be replacing Jeddah, by the way? No, I haven't seen that. Most undeserved championship lead in history. Wowzers. Wowzers me trousers. Anyway, that's it. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. You've been awesome, as always. Thanks, of course, to the 43 lesbians. Who's, I think, is the only one who's still awake, because I think everyone else has dropped off now. To Plynal Plessy, thank you for joining me, sir. To Mr. Poochiehead, well done for joining me tonight, sir. Been a long time, and welcome back. Welcome back. They always come back eventually. Mr. Rugara, thank you for joining, sir. Who else did we have? Just scrolling up. Champ92 was in there as well. And, of course, the legendary Will F1. We can't forget Will F1, can we? He was in there as well. And I think that was everybody apart from that new person. Oh, Polish Eddie was in there. Thank you, Mr. Eddie. Always welcome. Oh, and Helium Trophy. Almost forgot about Helium. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. My goodness. He was in there. And DGM99. Wowzers. And, of course, we had that new person who only said a couple of things. And, unfortunately, I can't see what they said because they've disappeared off the top of the stream. And that's it. Okay. Oh, there's Mr. Regara. He hasn't fallen asleep. He's still here. He's still here. Well done. Anyway. The new circuit is called... Have a look at the first... All right, let's just look at that before we go. Because I've got a couple of minutes. Don't like to go past 2 hours. What's it called? Kudar. Is that what it's called? How the hell do you spell that? How the hell do you spell that? I-D-D-A-H. Circuit. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Let's go. Wow. Wow. Is that it? My God. My God, it looks like someone's just got a paintbrush and splattered the track on. What the hell? What's that bit over there? I don't know which way they're going round. I presume that's the start and finish line. Let's see if I can find a better one than that. Better image. That's pretty naff. No, there's no better image on there. Come on, give me a... Oh, what's it called? It's called Q... Oh, D-I... Hang on a minute. See if this is any better. Ah, here we go. Good old Wiki. Not Wiki, Google. Yeah, this is what I wanted. Yeah, let's just have a flat version of it. That's what we want. Thank you. That's what we want. I can make myself a bit bigger now. That's what we want. So there you go. It's going that way. And that's turn 1, is it? Oh, that's a fabulously sharp turn, isn't it? Yes. Fabulous. Goes down into there, yes. DRS detection zone. Sector 2. DRS there, down a long straight, yes. DRS detection zone. Long one down there, and then of course the first DRS is there. Or shall I say the third DRS. Wow. 21 turns. 6 kilometres. That's pretty long, isn't it? Yeah, it's only 50 laps, that's why. So it would be at 6 kilometres. That is very long. That's got to be same as... That's getting into Spa territory, isn't it? Surely. Yeah, 7 kilometres. I thought it was. It's getting there. It's getting there. It's getting there. It's certainly getting there. Almost as long as Spa. Wowzers. But yeah, that could be a very interesting turn one. Whee, bang! Lots of lovely potential crashes there. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my goodness. That's a very sharp turn, isn't it? Yes. Well, it doesn't look too bad. It looks like another squiggle, though. No doubt it'll probably come to fruition at some time in the future. Oh, there you go. There you go. I want to watch Manchester United somehow win. Have a look on Google Images for the first corner. Just look how they planned the first corner to look. Yes, not good. Spa is, yeah, but it's certainly getting there at 6.1. It's getting near into Spa territory. So it's going to be a long circuit. Long circuit. Looks like it'll be a horrible fight. Yeah, it doesn't look good. Doesn't look good, I must admit. Does not look good at all. Right, it's 11 o'clock. I'm going to wrap it up there. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. It's coming to fruition. It's already been built. Oh, lovely. So that'll be on the calendar in about 3 or 4 years then, obviously. Great. Just what we need. Another shite circuit. Yeah. They'll probably replace Silverstone with that. Yeah, get rid of Silverstone and put that one in instead. Because that makes sense, doesn't it? Yes. That makes sense. Look at images of the first turn. Yeah. I think I've got... It looks horrible, and I must admit, it looks like a bloody tourist thing as well, doesn't it? You know, one of these F1 experience tracks, you know? Yeah, that turn is very sharp. Jesus. Very sharp. Look at it. And it goes really wide and then narrows right. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, it doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. $20-story high first corner. What? What? It looks like Mario Kart. I can't play this video because it's probably copyrighted. A theme park is built parallel to the circuit. A theme park. Look at that. Look, it looks like Mario Kart. Oh my God. Will be replaced. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Click on the picture of the turn on stilts. That's the first turn on the thumbnail of the vid. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, I get you. So it's on... oh my... hang on. I'm actually closing it up because I'm... I get you. I can't play the video, unfortunately, because I say it's probably going to be copyrighted because it comes from the sun. So it goes up on there on still. Oh my god! What happens if they? What happens if they crash and go over the top? They're going to end up down there. They're going to end up in the boondocks. What the hell? Well, I hope the crash barrier is going to be high enough, because that's ridiculous. What? They probably won't play anyway because these external links never seem to play for external videos. Oh look, an advert. I knew that was going to happen. That's why I pressed mute. Quickly, Dave, cover up the advert. It's covered. Oh God. Here we are. I don't want to play it. I just want to see if I can get that bit on the first turn. Oh, that's the air key thump. Ah, now we can see it. Jesus. There it is. Oh my God. That looks like a Gran Turismo fantasy track, doesn't it? That's a Gran Turismo fantasy track. Oh my God. Wow. Anyway, I better not play any more of that. I'm pushing me luck as I am. Wow. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Lance will have a field down that. He will. He will. Straight over the edge. Whee! Daddy! Daddy, I'm Superman! That'll be what he says. Daddy, I'm Superman! Oh my God. Anyway, right, that's it. I'm out of here. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Little bit I just tagged on the end there. Thanks so much for watching. You've been awesome as always. I've already said everyone that was in the stream, so thank you to everyone and the 43 lesbians at the end. Thank you, and I'll catch you in the next video.